Look at that for a quote from St. Paul. I mean, man, that man was on fire with the Holy Spirit without a shadow of a doubt. Suffering brings patience. Patience brings perseverance. Perseverance brings hope. And this hope is not deceptive because the love of God has been poured into our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which has been given to us. Friends, I would submit to you that if ever there was a tagline to go on the banners for new evangelization in Ireland, that would, without a shadow of a doubt, be definitely one of them. I mean, imagine talking about suffering in modern Ireland in a positive sense. Imagine talking about suffering in Ireland today, modern Ireland, without talking about taking alcohol to numb the pain, taking massive quantities of medication to hide symptoms, or burying our lives in the fake world of social media to complain about poor me the whole time, to do anything except face what difficulty we're facing and take responsibility. I mean, to talk or say anything positive about suffering in today's culture is a big no-no. See, everybody, when we have Christ here in the heart, right, when we really do our best every day as broken human beings as we all are, but we do our best to keep Christ here in our hearts, when we face difficulties, trials, and sufferings of one kind or another, we gain hope. It's a contradiction in itself, which the world who does not have Christ does not understand that. How can you have hope if you're facing suffering of one kind or one dimension or another? How is that possible? It makes no sense whatsoever. But yet it is true. For those who know and love Jesus, you will have hope, endurance, right? Why? Because we're given the Holy Spirit, which gives all of believers a bigger sense of the wider picture of what's going on. We know heaven is real. We know heaven awaits, please God. And what that does is gives you and me the courage to keep going and to not give up. Hope and endurance with faith in Jesus provides us, friends, which is so important and is truly a miracle in itself. And I think, everybody, this is where Our Lady has a massive role to play, obviously, in all of this, particularly through the Rosary, I would say, that mighty gift of heaven that's given to all of us. Now, I know Padre Pio, it is quoted saying that the Rosary is the weapon of our times. Without an absolute shadow of a doubt, it surely is, particularly in the long run when we maintain the Rosary in our lives. But I have to say, personally, I've found the Rosary to be more of a shield, right? A breastplate against particularly the darts of the enemy. On a daily basis, I'm talking about on a daily basis now. Those mundane temptations of the enemy. I found the Rosary to be particularly powerful against those everyday temptations. I mean, the days when I don't say the Rosary, my goodness me, I get pummeled by the other fella like there's no tomorrow. It's so obvious the difference it has in my own life when I don't say the Rosary on a daily basis. It's fascinating. Before I was ordained a priest, during my time in seminary, I just loved the luminous mysteries of the Rosary that John Paul II gave to us. Mysteries of light, because they always fill me with such optimism, such hope, and such endurance of what's to come. But funny, since I became parish priest, my favorite mysteries of the Rosary, of course, are the mysteries of suffering, the mysteries of sorrow. No joke. Which, friends, I think hammers home my point this morning. I'm sure I'm not the only one here this morning, but the more sufferings I face, the more conundrums and difficulties or adversities I face in my life, the more I unite them as close as I can to Jesus on the cross, particularly through the mysteries of the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary. My goodness, the more I'm filled with hope, courage to push through, to not give up. And I think Our Lady, friends, she's crucial, absolutely crucial in this process of converting our sorrow and pain into hope and perseverance, so to keep going. Because, friends, don't forget who we're talking about here at the end of the day. We're talking about a woman, Our Lady, who stood by the cross as her son was being brutally battered to death. Talk about pain and suffering and sorrow for any mother to go through is beyond words, a description to say the least. But, friends, what did she do with all that? Remember, 3 days later, Christ rose from the dead. Can you imagine the joy of Our Lady in understanding and realizing just what happened 3 days after his death at the cross? What did she do with that? She didn't hold on to it. Instead, she helped the apostles do their job. Absolutely amazing. I mean, she upheld the apostles, I would say, in many respects. And we see them in the gospel this morning after Christ ascends into heaven. They're going around, they're preaching, they're spreading the good news of the power of faith in the resurrected Christ and what it brings to those who accept him. And you and I know the apostles, they faced horrendous adversity, massive amounts of violence, to say the least. And I've no doubt, and tradition actually points to this being a fact, Our Lady was with them the whole time. When they found things difficult, they always reverted back to the Mother of Jesus to keep them going, to give them hope and confidence to do what they're supposed to be doing and give them hope. And this brings me, friends, to my final point. In the near future here in this country, there's going to be a massive amounts of converts to the Catholic faith. And I mean massive. I know you're probably saying, Father Bill, how can you be so optimistic? Absolutely, I'm optimistic, to say the least. Because as usual, friends, Christians are going to be picking up the pieces of a demoralized and broken society, right? It always happens. I mean, friends, look, there's so much depression at the moment. There's so much sorrow, so much anxiety and pain. Addiction to pornography is just ridiculous at the moment. Horrific drugs, alcohol, and this dark form of narcissism that feeds into young people's lives because they're glued to the screen. They can't let go of this darker side of the social media platforms. I mean, on top of that, the twisted spiritual falseness of paganism and occultism, which is rising, let alone the collapse of human dignity and human worth through the immorality of skyrocketing abortion rates and, of course, the incoming euthanasia, suicide laws. Friends, all of this is leaving us as a nation stripped of hope, stripped of a vigor for the future, which I think all of us can see and sense. Yet, everybody, this is exactly the type of ground the gospel grows like there's no tomorrow. This makes a fertile ground for the gospel and evangelization. Hungry hearts for truth, hungry hearts for hope, I would say in many respects. That's going to be the task of those of us who love and hold dear to Jesus and Our Lady, which we will need to proclaim in Ireland again in the near future, Jesus' resurrection and the hope he offers us, particularly through suffering. We're going to have to offer a demoralized country and people Jesus once again, fresh and new, amidst him being a light amidst the darkness. So friends, look, as we give God thanks for Our Lady, our Blessed Mother here this morning, this is the first Saturday of February, I'd invite us all to take Lent again that bit more seriously and use it as a powerful moment, a few days in our lives, getting closer to Jesus through Our Lady, so we can offer the hope of our faith when people are ready to listen. Our Lady, Queen of Ireland, pray for us.